What's going on, fellow A-plussers? It's your boy Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new video today as we're going to be catching up to some live viewer questions. For those that we didn't necessarily get to on Sunday, today is your day that we're going to be finishing off these questions. I can't remember how many questions we certainly had, but we're just going to go ahead and dive into it, guys. So hopefully everybody's week has certainly been going well. I'm recording this on Wednesday evening, so you'll probably see this on Thursday. So happy Thursday, guys, giving you some content to certainly enjoy. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Good old Stuart. What's up, Stuart? Thank you very much for certainly coming through with your question. Do you still wish Power Rangers Zeo had a better series finale than what it actually got? For me, aside from the Tommy and Jason saying goodbyes, which was perfect, with Jason retiring as a full-time Ranger, I did some research and found that Johnny Young Bosch, who played Adam, did an interview and was asked regarding what could have been the real ending of Zeo and transition to Turbo. Basically, they had already shot around 3 hours of new material for the Turbo movie, but the studio decided to scrap everything. Some of that stuff that were cut, including Divatox's forces fighting the Zeo Rangers and their powers along with their Zords, were destroyed. We did get a brief moment in the actual movie of Cat morphing into Zeo Pink while jumping into the ocean with Tommy. Other rumors included Billy being the one to actually create the Turbo papers, which would also explain why he kept leaving during the early introduction of the Gold Ranger. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. That's actually new information to me, so I really appreciate that. I might have to look that up in regards to the 3 hours of material for a Turbo movie. Let me know where you found that information, and I'd love to go ahead and check it out, honestly. But yeah, I do wish that the Power Rangers Zeo maybe had a better series finale. It's honestly been so long since I've had the opportunity to check out the Zeo finale itself. I feel like the transition into Turbo, and then the Turbo series sometimes feels like a little bit of a blur to me. I really wasn't the biggest fan of the season. I think the comedic level was a little bit too much for me, so I didn't really maybe appreciate it as much as maybe I should have. I don't know how everybody else feels about the Turbo series out there, but Zeo was honestly always one of my favorites. For me, I always loved the idea that it finally felt like it established the 3 newest Rangers with some personalities and lives of their own, and it didn't feel like they were stand-ins any longer. And so I always really appreciated Power Rangers Zeo, and for me, that was probably one of my favorite times, and truly enjoying Jason as Gold Zeo is one of my favorite characters and one of my favorite costumes, honestly, too. Good old Jack Daniels. I'm still in awe that Detective Pikachu worked. I remember when it was first announced, I kind of groaned, like I could just visualize how embarrassing this movie was going to be. Then years later, the trailer actually looked awesome, and then I saw it. I only go to the theater for Marvel movies and comedies, but I had to see this movie, and it was actually really fun. Not perfect, but good, and I loved it. 3 years later, I'm still shocked at how much fun I had with it. 8 out of 10. So that sounds like a B to me, Jack. So, Detective Pikachu is actually a movie I have not seen yet. Pikachu, the whole Pokemon crave, I think, was maybe just a little past my time. My brother was a really big Pokemon fan back in the day. He actually has some Pokeballs that so my brother has moved to Japan, and he didn't necessarily take everything with him. And so I still have some of his like collectible Pokeballs, I feel like, kind of hidden away inside the closet. So that was definitely his thing. But seeing the trailer for Detective Pikachu, I gotta admit, man, they told me they're going to do a Detective Pikachu movie. Like you, I kind of rolled my eyes until I saw the first trailer. And I'm actually a big fan of Justice Smith. I wind up actually seeing him in a Netflix series. I think it was called the Get Down or the Get Up or something like that. It was a Netflix series that I was introduced to him, and I thought he was such a great actor. So to be able to kind of see him just moving on up in the Hollywood, if you will, Detective Pikachu, and then in the most recent like Jurassic Park movies and things like that, I really love seeing him in a movie. But as much as I have not seen Detective Pikachu, everybody that I know that has seen it has been a really big fan of it. So it is something I probably will go ahead and take a look at also, because yeah, I did hear it worked. I definitely heard it worked. Chris Crossman, you're up next. What do you think of Dulcea in the 95 Power Rangers movie? And what if she was introduced in the Boom Studios comics? Plus, would you prefer her being the one to give the ninja powers in the movie or Ninjor in the TV show? I mean, look, Dulcia, 1995. How old was I when that movie came out then? I had to be like 13, 12 or 13. So Dulcia definitely made me feel some type of way for sure when I got the opportunity to see her. I was like, oh my God. Scantily clad woman in a Power Ranger movie definitely did something to a 12-year-old back in the day. It'd be cool if she was introduced to Boom Studios comics. And I actually kind of like that origin story better than Ninjors. And that's just me. This might be blasphemous for some people. I never was really the biggest Ninjor fan. A little too goofy for me. His voice acting work was a little too over the top. I just never really cared for Ninjor, honestly. So if I had to pick how the Rangers got their ninja powers, give me Dulcia all day. Because honestly, like after seeing the movie, that's how I thought it was going to be. Because I remember as a kid going and watching the next season of Power Rangers and just thinking to myself, like, why didn't they keep everything that was the same in the movie in here into the television show? And I had no idea why not at the time. So there was a part of me that definitely wished that Dulcia had been true to the storyline when it comes to TV. Blossom, of all the shows created on Arrowverse, which one was the best? Since Dino Fury is starting back up, what episodes are you looking forward to? So for me, my two favorite shows was probably Arrow and Black Lightning. I was really impressed with Black Lightning. I think Black Lightning had a good 5-6 seasons in it. If you ask me, I think it still got canceled way too prematurely. I felt like it was a much better show than what Flash was at the time, maybe even better than Supergirl was, certainly at the time. It just felt a shame that they let such a great sort of black family of superheroes kind of go to the wayside and not really do anything with them, and instead kind of replace them with Superman and family, you know. And again, I have my feelings about why they canceled Black Lightning, and I certainly won't go into, but I just think it was done wrong, man. But Black Lightning for me was fantastic, and Arrow still to this day is one of my favorite Arrowverse series. Seasons 1 was great. Season 2 was probably some of the best television I had seen in a really long time. It's probably one of my favorite seasons of television like ever, up there with like Lost and maybe another television show that I've watched. But I always loved the second season of Arrow, and then it really started kind of going down by the wayside come season 3 and 4. It felt like a little bit of too much bickering and relationship problems between Felicity and Oliver, and it really got under my skin. And there was a time period I thought, come season 5, this is going to be it, man, because the ratings were dipping. And I just thought to myself, like, how much more story do you have to tell of Oliver on the island, right? We were coming up to the 5-year mark, season 5. I thought this was definitely going to be the finale, considering the trajectory of what the series was. But Arrow ended up turning out to be one of the best turnarounds, I think, when it comes to television, in like going the opposite direction and then injecting life back into your season. Because I thought season 5 was pretty solid, and it just kept building from there. And I thought it went out on a fantastic note, created some amazing characters, and really set off a huge Arrowverse that we all have Stephen Amell and good old Greg Berlanti to certainly thank for. So for me, Arrow and Black Lightning are probably my two favorite ones. The most talented man alive, I suck my own balls. Thoughts on critics who are harsh when it comes to movies, especially kids' movies? I've seen videos from reviewers who get angry when they talk about the movie that's clearly meant for kids. Example, The Smurfs. One guy I used to watch got so angry. Don't think critics and reviewers should remember how to be. Don't you think critics and reviewers should remember how to be a kid again? Absolutely. I think sometimes we can be a little too cynical, if you will, in regards to certain things. But I also think there's a part of us that needs to remember, like, this movie wasn't made for us. You know what I mean? Like, it literally is going towards a much younger audience. And I'm sure some of these movies definitely have maybe some jokes that are kind of meant for the adults. Like if an adult has to take a kid to see a movie, you got to keep the adults sort of intrigued a little bit. Maybe a couple of jokes that maybe the kids won't necessarily catch on to, but the parents might get a chuckle out of. But the movie itself is really derived towards kids. And so I think as a critic, as a moviegoer, I think going into the movie, you have to understand the crowd that it's really navigated towards. And then, when you give your reviews and your thoughts, nothing wrong with being critical of it, but the idea of understanding what it's meant for, who it's meant for. You don't want to get necessarily too overly critical. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that type of stuff, yeah, it would be great if some people remembered how to be a kid for sure. Sometimes I think we take things a little bit too seriously. Who else we got here? Oh my God. Grant the Mofo Flash. My goodness, bro. You got like the longest questions and comments. This is like an article. I'm just gonna read this. This is more of a comment instead of necessarily a question. Grant the Mofo Flash, which I'm assuming is probably AJ, and yet another YouTube name. Been saving this since last week. My thoughts on season 8 of The Flash. When 8 started, I was blown away that Barry and Iris' adult future kids were the main stars during the first episode of Armageddon. So cool seeing Nora and Bart in 2049 Central City and then being the only members of the Team Flash at that point. Star Labs now configured as the Flash Museum was awesome and breathtaking. Seeing so many different suits from the past heroes and villains from this show. I did not expect seeing Jay Garrick and his wife, who are obvious doppelgangers of Barry's late parents. I guess spoiler warning if you guys haven't checked out season 8 of The Flash. He says, I really love that they had no idea that this version of Nora West Allen was after Crisis, wasn't the same one who sacrificed herself at the end of season 5, who was the original future timeline. Really cool scene. She was the more experienced and responsible sibling compared to her brother Bart. Really? God, if she was a more responsible one, Jesus, we're all in trouble. I never followed the comic book, so I didn't care that they were changed as children of Barry and Iris instead of their grandkids in the future. Moving forward, I love that this season kept switching back and forth from the past to the future to the present day. I really love Barry had tons of screen time following the 5-episode arc, which I know some fans had issues with Barry not being focused enough from the past couple of seasons, and seeing Barry still getting used to life since Oliver's sacrifice and Crisis. I also love that each of the supporting characters of Team Flash had equal amount of screen time. But I quickly got adjusted. I love that Caitlin had so much to do, especially with the surprise sacrifice of Killer Frost. It was really weird for me watching this season and not having Tom Cavanaugh as a series regular playing a new version of Harrison Wells. That was kind of weird to me. I was a big fan of Tom Cavanaugh. So his departure was definitely, while I didn't necessarily watch the entire season, I wonder if his departure was felt. I was extremely surprised when he eventually showed up again near the end of the season. Okay, there you go. He popped up again. Speaking of Reverse Flash, I was absolutely incredibly surprised that Matt Leacher, who played the real Eobard Thawne back in season 1, returned as a version of himself who never became Reverse Flash and killed Barry's mother. His storyline of being in love with a new scientist speedster, Mina Dewan, aka Fast Track, was a huge reveal to me in the penultimate episode, where the real Thawne wearing Dr. Wells' face combined with the powers of the negative Still Force members did a huge double whammy mind F, but actually taking over the new good Thawne, and seeing Matt Leacher's face ripping apart was horrifying. Yeah, this is pretty much a whole entire spoiler breakdown of season 8, guys. So if you have not seen season 8, I'm so sorry you have to sit through this, but you no longer have to, because now you know everything that's happening. Only con I had with season 8 was Iris having powers and constantly having weird time sickness headaches, which made no sense to me. I really wished Iris was just an ordinary human reporter, journalist that she was in early seasons. I still can't forget when she somehow restored Barry's speed during season 7. To conclude, I absolutely love season 8. It felt like a brand new season for the series, with the show having tons of jump scare sound effects that gave me Sam Raimi vibes. This week's unexpected announcement of season 9 being the final season, I'm really going to miss the Flash series as a whole, and for it being the second to last of the original right after Arrow to kick off the Arrowverse as we knew it. Grant Gustin to me has been the best live action iteration of the Flash. And last but not least, we've got Robert Buena. What do you think of the Omega Ranger and Power Rangers SPD being a ball of light? If we ever get a 20th anniversary reunion series with SPD, would you like it for it to take place in 2025, which is 20 years after the main timeline, or 2025? Oh, 2045, which is 20 years after the SPD timeline, or 2025? Sam did become human again right before he and Nova Ranger went into the time portal at the end of SPD. If I had to choose, give me Give me 2045. I'll take 2045. Um yeah, I rather them do it 20 years, even if it's the 20th anniversary Union series, do it 20 years from their time period. That would be perfectly okay with me. And Mega Ranger, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. I think for especially, I think I'm even cooler with it now, um, because I've seen Deca Ranger, or at least I've watched most of Deca Ranger. I still, unfortunately, have never finished the season, um, and I really liked how he was certainly utilized then. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. I think that actually will end up all of our questions. We actually didn't have that many. I probably could have finished some of these over on A plus hero report. So I apologize. And if I'm super bright in the screen today, I'm so sorry. I didn't get a chance to adjust my camera settings before I hit record, so I might look a lot brighter than I normally do. I promise I've got a little bit of a tan. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for me here today in regards to our live viewer questions. If anything, I'll probably post a new. Sorry, I'll probably go ahead and post up a new questionnaire for live viewer questions sometime tomorrow or Friday for you guys. So definitely go ahead and look out then and get ready to go ahead and submit your question over if you'd like. And then we'll definitely be back on Sunday for a new episode of A Plus Hero Report. We might have the whole crew tomorrow, or we might have the whole crew this Sunday, but I'll definitely go ahead and keep you guys posted. But until then, go ahead and check out some of our content that we have from this week. We just posted a brand new Wednesday Netflix series. They did a teaser trailer. We did a little bit of a reaction video to that trailer. Definitely go ahead and check it out. And we also have She-Hulk dropping for you guys this week. Also, Indy's going to be doing a weekly review for you guys, dropping every Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time. So if you are going to be checking out She-Hulk on Thursdays, check out our reviews on Friday afternoons. But until then, guys, do me a big favor as always. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A plus. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.